Hey everybody, in this video I want to talk about the different tools and options that you have in the navigation bar. So your navigation bar is this kind of vertical kind of bar here that's under your view cube. And first of all, let's say you happen to accidentally close it and you're like, oh no, how do I get this thing back? So to get it back, you want to go up to where you see the view tab and click on user interface. And then you see the navigation bar here. So click on the little box next to it and that'll bring your navigation bar back. So the tools that they said you could be asked about on the Inventor Certified User Exam is going to be Orbit, Zoom, Pan, and also the Look At tool. So I'm not going to go into too much in depth in this, but just kind of briefly describe to you what each one of these items or options do. So the first one is the pan, which looks like a right hand. So if you click on the hand and then you can kind of left click in your view area, you can kind of pan your object around. It's important to keep in mind though, any of these navigation options, you're not actually moving any of the objects on your screen. You're just kind of what's moving is your viewpoint or your kind of view around the object. Even though you might be sitting in your chair, you're like, I'm sitting in my chair, I'm not moving either, but it's just your viewpoint of the object is what's kind of moving around. So pan is like, imagine a sheet of paper on your desk and you're just kind of moving it around. You're not actually zooming in or out, or you're not rotating any, you're just kind of, shuffling it around like that. So that's the pan. Also, the middle wheel button on your mouse, if you press and hold it, and then you kind of move your mouse around, that'll also work as the pan button as well, or the pan tool. Not like Peter Pan, but anyway, all right, so that's the pan. And then the next one is the zoom. So there's different options under the zoom. If you click on the little arrow underneath it, there's zoom, zoom all, zoom window, zoom selected. So just the first one is zoom. If you left click, then you, let me click on zoom actually. Now if you left click, you can either zoom in or out depending on how you move your mouse. Also, your wheel button on your mouse pretty much does the same thing. So if you kind of move your wheel forward and back, you can kind of see it. It kind of navigates your view closer to or further away from your object. So that's the first one. That's the zoom. And then zoom all. That basically what that does when you click zoom all, it just kind of brings all of your objects kind of within the viewing area, as big as possible. I guess it not actually as big as possible, because you can see there's empty space around this, but it'll kind of bring all your objects into view. So that's that one. And then the zoom window, if you click on zoom window, then you just kind of draw like a little window area around the object that you want to zoom in on. So let's say this little fin right here. Like if I draw a window around it and let go, it'll kind of zoom that window really, really close to you, and you can have a really good view of that. So let me go back where I was. All right, so then the last one is going to be zoom selected. So basically you just kind of click a point that you want to zoom in on. So maybe I want to zoom in on this kind of right side of this fin here. It's not going to rotate it around, but it'll kind of zoom that as close as possible so you can kind of get a better look at it. Now if I wanted to zoom and rotate this around, then I would use the last item here, which is going to be the look at. So if I click on look at, and now if I click this face here, it'll kind of spin it around, kind of perpendicular to your viewing eye. I can do that again for this underneath one here. So if I click underneath, it'll kind of rotate it around to what's perpendicular to what you're looking at. So that's a very cool option to have. All right, so another option under the navigation bar is what's called orbit. So orbit kind of makes me dizzy, I'm not gonna lie. If you click on the orbit, right, and then if you click inside the circle and left click and hold it, you can kind of just like go all kind of crazy goofy here. Just kind of look at different sides, different angles. I think what you really want to do though, I found works better, is if I click on orbit and click on the little pegs that are sticking out from the four kind of sides here. If I click here and kind of drag it, now I can kind of rotate it around horizontally, a lot easier. If I click on this vertical one and drag it up or down, it kind of flips it around vertically. So it doesn't get kind of crazy cockeyed on me like that. So it's just a way of you kind of spinning your viewpoint around your object there. And then there's also a constrained orbit, which again, if you click on the little stems that are sticking out and left and kind of left, move to the left, move to the right, it's kind of like, to me, that's a lot cleaner. So you kind of spinning it around like you're on a record. And if you click on this vertical peg, same thing, kind of spins it around like this, like you're doing, you're in gymnastics class and you're doing some tumbling exercises. So there's that. That's the orbit. So, the last one, it says underneath that, they want you to be able to know how to use the slice graphics. So slice graphics are, let's say if I was going to create a sketch, and maybe I want to create a sketch on one of these vertical planes. So maybe the XY plane here. And then let's say I wanted to draw something, maybe a line or maybe even a circle. Let's do a circle. The center point right here, this green dot here, right above, or just somewhere. It doesn't have to be the green dot, right there. Drag it out. So if I drag it out now, all of a sudden where'd my circle go? It disappeared on me. It's really there, but it's within the center of that plane, and we have some objectivity that's covering it up, so we can't see it. So, I mean, usually what I would do is change my view to a wireframe, but you can also go down here at the bottom and you see this, where you see the slice graphics tool. And if you click on it, it'll like slice the front part of that object or that part away, so you can kind of see what's going on with your sketch. So it doesn't actually like cut it in half and remove it. It just kind of removes it kind of visually, so you can kind of see what you're doing, right? So then when you're finished with it, you just hit the slice graphics back and boom, it appears back again. So that's kind of a cool option. But usually, before I even realized what that was, I would just go up to View, Visual Style, hit Wireframe, and then I could see what was going on inside my part there. But so that covers it says navigate within the graphics window, orbit, zoom, pan, look at, and then underneath that to go over slice graphics. So we've kind of got those covered. And I'll see y'all next lesson. All right, peace.